What's going on, guys? Brian Rushwood with Scam School Backstage, my sneaky way of directly answering your questions. And we're going to go straight to the YouTube comments first with the question everyone's been asking, WTF, man, where are the spikes? The truth is, I'm doing some TV work right now, and they want me to have normal hair for it. So for a little bit, I'm going to be rocking the normals, but pretty soon I'm going on tour. Hopefully I'll be able to take you on the adventure through Scam School Backstage, and you'll get to see rocking the spikes again. Look, man, it's a convertible hairstyle. Next up on Twitter from Gatowag, what is that on your face? Really, Brant? It's a beard. I'm at home. Makes me look rugged and tough. Over email, Danny has an awesome question about the shakes. Hey Brian, I love to do magic tricks to people, but I always feel really nervous when attempting to approach them. I'll do some cool stuff if people ask me to, but it's even more nerve-wracking because I feel there is much to be expected of me. Do you have any advice for not being nervous when performing or being more confident when approaching people? Thanks, Danny. This is a great question, and it's been the bane of my magic performance existence as long as I can remember. The thing to remember about the shakes is that it's not a case of you psychologically not being up to the challenge of performing. It's a simple side effect of the adrenaline rush. What happens when you get put on the spot, or you get excited, or there's a lot of pressure on your performance, you feel that squirt of adrenaline, your whole body goes kind of hot and cold at the same time, and the side effect of that is that you get the trembling fingers. And of course, to somebody on the outside, it just reads like you're a nervous wreck and you don't know what you're doing. So what I'll oftentimes do is I always have 2 or 3 cool-off routines that I'll be ready to jump over to, because sometimes that adrenaline rush hits you at random times when you don't expect it. You'll be 3 or 4 routines in and somebody will say, oh man, it's the president, Obama, you gotta see this guy do a trick. And he comes over and you go like, oh, I'm sorry, leader of the free world. So what I recommend you do is when that happens, just go to a routine that either A, doesn't require precise movement with your hands. For example, the human chimney is a great one because you don't have to worry about fine motor skills. You're just going to light a match and inhale it. Or do one that is all the way in their hands. You could set up a puzzle. You could do something where you just cross your hands and you can kind of guide them through the beginning of the setup. Remember that adrenaline rush and the side effect of the shakes can't last forever. So just have something to kill the time until you calm down and you're ready to jump back into it. Other things you could try is you could try eliminating caffeine. When I did that for about 2 years, I found that I didn't get the shakes when I got really excited during the routine. Or try just doing stage performance. Next up over Google+, Gatowag sends me this picture that says, dead rodents are the new rugged. It's cute. I'm not threatened. This beard is not threatened. We will withstand your snark, sir. By email, David from Toronto asks, in every episode of Scam School, you're already sitting at the table with the marks who've got no idea what they're in for. But here comes the question. How do you approach them without being awkward or getting pepper sprayed? Do you just sit there and do your thing, or do you start a small conversation? I would really appreciate it if you could show the world how that one works, because I've been shut down a couple of times by the marks, so I only get to do it to like a crowd, but that's not ideal. So how can I do what you do and get into a random table full of strangers? No lie, the approach is the toughest thing to do. The important thing is don't walk up to a random stranger and say, hey, do you want to see a trick? That puts all the power in their hands. You want to figure out if there's a way that you can get them to ask you to do the performing. So what I do is I ask questions. Remember, it's an old salesman trick that the person asking the questions is in charge of the conversation. So walk up and ask, hey, do you guys know any good bar tricks? Now you've put them on the spot. They're the ones who are off kilter, and usually they'll say yes, they know one, or they've heard of one and half describe it. And in fact, if you're worried about approaching a person at the bar, ask the bartender, because it's their job to interact with you. It's their job to make small talk in between making drinks, and the odds are they probably do know a kick-ass bar trick. Now me, I always say, well, the reason I ask is because I host this show called Scam School. But you can use the same excuse. Say, well, the reason I ask is because I just saw this show called Scam School where they teach bar tricks every time. And I got one, like, I've never tried this before, which is a total lie because it'll be your best trick that you're about to bust out. But you can say, I just saw this one, I thought I'd give it a try. And now they'll say, yeah, dude, absolutely, let me see it. And you've gone from, what's the phrase, pest to welcome guest. Now you're the one who's in charge of it, looking like a badass with your sweet, sweet, rugged mustache. Next up over Facebook, Brant asks, like this comment if you want Brian to rock a half stash, hashtag half stash. You don't even use hashtags in Facebook. And I'm not going to rock a half stash. I wouldn't even know what a half stash is. So if you got questions you want answered right here on Scam School Backstage, hit me up on all the social medias. You're a genuinely bad person if you're not following me on twitter.com/schwood, facebook.com/schwood, or google.com/+schwood. And of course, make sure to subscribe to Scam School, because I love you. I think you're great. Kind of like this half stash. It's like, is he rugged or is he not? I don't know. It's dashing. It's a mystery. Half stash. I'm like a private investigator. Half stash is on the case.